And President Kennedy died
Where were you when that earthquake hit?
in the bottom gym, scared to death.
I remember my mom bought a '66 Mustang that year that I got to drive to school, which was great. Miss Pete Braun. Last thing I heard, he's in Central America, and I haven't seen him in 20 years.
I remember Mrs. Skoogle's English class. A rude awakening to high school.
What kind of grade did she give you?
I struggled to a B.
I think I remember when you're looking back at it now, there was nonviolence. You know, you could get along with somebody if you got pissed at him, you can get in a fight and get it over with and shake hands, where nowadays they'll shoot you, so.
Did you get any fights back then?
Did I what?
Did you get any fights back then?
No.
What are some things in your life you've done looking back that make you feel proud?
I've raised two kids, a daughter and a son, and they've both turned out, I think, very well, and I'm very proud of them.
Any grandchildren yet?
No,
What kind of career did you have?
I'm an attorney,
Still practicing?
correct.
Oh, I have 3 kids, 6 grandkids. I spend a lot of my time with my grandkids. I build cars for a hobby. Been in business for 47 years.
What was your job?
Well, we manufacture structural skylights for shopping malls, schools, and government facilities.
Have 2 children, 2 daughters, 1 grandson, wonderful wife, been married to for 30 years. Done a fair amount of traveling for the company and also privately. And
What kind of work did you do?
I worked for Boeing for 34 years.
I have two boys also that are healthy and vibrant. Enjoy that. What I'm passionate about, I was in a shepherd in Sunday school for 15 plus years. Love it.
What kind of job did you have, Rick?
I was in plywood manufacturing.
Yeah, I got 4 boys, 2 girls. Spent a year in Vietnam as a correspondent. Spent 20 years working for Boeing over in Asia as a cyber investigator. And been retired now for 5 years.
Hi, I'm Bob Brandvold. I live in Snohomish, Washington with my wife.
I'm Scott Alexander. I live in Gold Canyon, Arizona.
Larry Jackson. I live in Everett, Washington.
Dick LaChapelle, I live in Everett, Washington.
How do you think you've changed since high school?
Things change, but you're still the same person. The character's the same, the integrity's the same, but the emotions get a little screwed up sometimes. But anyways, that's kind of how it went for me.
Well, I'm the same guy. I'll always be, but I just don't have any hair anymore.
I kind of feel like after the age of 40, you kind of change every 10 years just from aging. But I don't know about personality-wise, but there are some changes.
Yeah, personality-wise, I'm probably about the same. Got to mellow out a little bit. I was pretty wild in high school, though, so grandkids now, you got to be careful.
Name me a couple classmates you still keep in touch with today. Anybody you still talk to or email or see on a regular basis? Anyone you still keep in touch with?
No.
Nobody, lost touch. Is this your first reunion?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't keep in touch with anybody. I haven't been to a reunion since our 10th.
Jim Phillips and Mike Morris, I see them at the reunions, but I don't really keep in touch with them a lot.
Julie Bechter, we see her and her husband quite a bit.
Tell me a little about your lives today, guys, what you're up to. You still working, retired, you married, kids? A little about your life today, Richard.
Retired twice, union plumber once, worked for Snohomish County for 30 years, building inspector, retired from that. 7 grandkids.
What's one of your hobbies for fun now?
Casino, traveling, go to Hawaii every year for 3 weeks.
I've worked in sawmills around this area for close to 50 years. Right after I got out of high school, I saw filing for over 40 years, and I'm retired now. I just retired last January.
Ever been married?
Yeah, I've been married twice. My wife is right over there. But anyway, we've been together for 40 years.
Arizona, I golf, I ride motorcycles, and I hot rod. Other than that,
What do you retire from?
I retired out of Associated Sand and Gravel.
Any kids?
4 kids, 3 grandkids, 2 ex-wives. I won't mention that.
Yeah, I've been retired from, I've had a lot of jobs, I was a carpenter until I was about 40. I was a golf pro before that for 4 years. I'm a 100% disabled combat veteran from Vietnam, and everything's good. Been married for 44 years to the same woman and have some kids and grandkids, and you know.
I'm Norma Eisenman, and I live here in Everett.
I'm Marcia Kimball Horler. I live in Yelm, Washington.
I'm Carol Troop, and I'm so excited to be here. I forget where I live. I think it's Dewey Beach, Deception Pass.
I'm Susan Hellis Hickok, and I live in Moses Lake.
If you could relive those high school days, Norma, are there things you might do a little bit differently?
Well, I probably would study a little bit harder, but I did okay, so I can't complain too much. I got into the college of my choice, so that was good. Seattle Pacific University. So.
I'd probably pretty much do the same thing I did. I would make sure that I put myself out there more than I did, but overall I had a great time.
I think I would have stayed after school and done more after-school activities and contributed more. And study more, of course. Went to college. It was okay. Turned out fine, but could have done better. Couldn't we all?
I'm not sure what I would have done different. Maybe had a little. Yesterday I was listening to a bunch talking about all the fun things they were doing, and sounded really exciting, and I think I was a little bit boring. I didn't say that way, but then I was.
Thinking about your life a little bit, Norma, what are some things you've done that make you feel good or proud?
I really enjoyed going to Europe. That was a treat. And as far as hobbies, I'm really into genealogy. It was so interesting and so much fun. I actually found some relatives we didn't know existed, and that's worked out very well.
I raised 2 sons and had a great time with that. I had a job position that allowed me to travel and live throughout the United States, and that was really fun. Got to see that the rest of the United States is flat. And just got to have lots of adventures. It was really fun.
Well, I just think I'm thankful for the fact that Scotty and I got together and we've done a lot of traveling. He's from Scotland, so we go back home to his hometown and see his family a lot. And I think the traveling to go to Egypt and to the Mediterranean and just around the world has been really exciting. So, and I love my career. It turned out great.
What was your career?
I was an employment counselor with the Employment Security Department. Taught classes and just enjoyed it.
Does your husband ever wear a kilt?
Yes, he does. You're going to ask me what?
How's he looking at?
He looks great. He's got cute knees.
Well, I raised 3 kids and have a husband that we're still together with, so that's good. But I taught school and did that for about 30 years, first kindergarten and second, and enjoyed it very much. And I'm active with Lions and some different things, organizations like that. Do some traveling. I did go to Scotland, and I absolutely loved it, and we want to go back.
Yes.
Because it was so much fun. So.
Has your husband ever worn a kilt?
No, he hasn't. No.
Great experience.
Yeah, that would be.
Next 5 years, what do you want to do? Give me one thing you want to do next 5 years.
Oh, I plan on traveling quite a bit. Yeah.
Continue to travel. Go to Mexico. Hopefully go back to Scotland. And we want to cruise to the Alaska area. Hopefully.
I just retired, so I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up. But I do want to do some traveling and have some great times.
Do you miss work at all?
No.
I'd like to go back to Europe.
Richard Smith, Everett, Washington.
Larry Hunter, Ashland, Oregon.
Ron Anderson, Stanwood.
Hi, Dennis LaBelle from Everett, Washington.
Anybody not here tonight that you missed, Dennis?
Yes, I miss Roger Tigan.
What was he like in high school?
Wild and crazy like me. And he's still around, but he chose not to come.
I miss Mike McElroy because we grew up pretty much right across the street from one another, and we're still really good friends. And he's on Lopez Island, and and he better stay there.
I miss Keith Spellhog, who is not with us because he's on the deceased classmates board.
Rick Jellerson was my neighbor in grade school and high school.
My name is David Blacker, and I live in Everett.
And who's not here tonight, David, that you're missing? Think of any friends?
Well, yeah, there's a whole list of them over there on the board, and all our friends that didn't live long enough to get here.
What do you remember about Cascade High School, David?
Well, I was really active with drama groups, so I did about 9 shows there, and it really set the tone for the rest of my life. I ended up with a theater company.
Did you have a senior play?
Well, we had several of them. I was just talking to Bill Davenport last night about doing Brigadoon together with Bob Richer, who passed away about a week and a half ago.
Yes. What do you remember?
Well, I remember, my wife's going to kill me, my old girlfriend, Jackie Fritz.
What class was she in?
She was a year behind me in school. Yeah.
When's the last time you saw her?
About 2 reunions ago, at my wife's reunion, she was there.
I think my most memorable times was seeing Gloria Skagerud riding down the Annie Irving Trail on a horse, Charlie.
Yes.
And she was a beautiful young girl, and we used to run up and pretend like we didn't know she was there, and we'd cut off and run up the hill. Oh, hi, Gloria.
Cross country and track team.
I had a coffee house at high school, Three Thieves Coffee House. I miss that.
Out of high school, what were your plans? You follow those plans or something different?
I had no plans, and I followed them.
What'd you do for a career, Richard?
Data processing, computers, software.
Ever get married?
I did. 39 years.
Any kids?
3 kids, 2 kids, 6 grandkids.
I had no clue, so I went to school, and I stayed in school for a long time. Then I had a career.
What kind of career?
I had 2. I was in business marketing for about 15 years, and then I went to seminary and became an Episcopal priest for 24 years.
Ever been married?
Yes.
Any children?
Yes, 3 stepchildren.
That was the first step, is getting through high school. And the second step was the wonderment of it all. But and I'm married and have no children for reasons unbeknownst to me. But I've been very fortunate and to be here tonight, and just glad to see everybody.
What kind of job did you have?
I became a building contractor for about 30 years.
After high school, I went to the junior college to stay out of the Army. So after I finished 1 year of college, I joined the Navy. And when I got home from the Navy, my mother tells me this girl named Phyllis called up wondering how Dennis was doing in the military, and I ended up marrying her, and I'm still married. I worked for Boeing from day one when I got back from the service and just retired.
Well, I was always a very political person. I joined a group that was from the Office of Economic Opportunity. It was called VISTA. It was a domestic Peace Corps. I went to the South and I did civil rights work for a year and a half. And after that, I got my degree in broadcast journalism and worked for the ABC affiliate in Seattle.
Are you still into politics?
I'm not in television, but I'm still into politics. You bet.
I'm Mark Wellman, and I live in Everett. Ken Leader, Arlington, Washington.
Dan Hammer, Mukilteo, Washington.
Ken Carlson, Everett. Jamie Hunter, Everett.
Mark, what have you been thinking about the last couple days?
Oh, just who'd be here and how they'd look.
First person you saw when you walked in, do you remember?
Greg Morgan.
Did you recognize him?
Yes. I just anxiety about meeting all my classmates again, and
have you been to other reunions?
Yeah, I've been to all of them.
I didn't have any anxiety about coming. I thought it would be exciting to see people that I hadn't seen for a long time.
Are people recognizing you tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have any anxiety. Glad to see everybody. Seeing how they look after, 50 years of high school. Yeah.
Well, I was looking forward to meeting all my buddies from Rose Hill. And Danny Hammer and Marcia Kimball's here. And so it's really neat to see your old-time kids you went to grade school with, 1 through 6, so it's fantastic.
What do you remember about those high school days, Mark?
Ruth Packard. She allowed me to graduate.
So you were close to not graduating?
I'm pretty sure of that, yeah.
So what did she teach?
She was our counselor, senior class counselor.
I remember a girlfriend that I had, Terry Green, that always perks up a memory in me when I think of my high school days.
What class was she in?
She was in the class of 67.
I just remember all the people that were in the class and the good things that happened, and I guess I remember the day that President Kennedy was assassinated and where I was and
where were you?
Metal Shop.
I just remember the 41 Chevrolet I used to drive to school. I had to push it all the time because the battery was real weak. And then I remember when Kennedy was shot also.
Do you remember when you bought that car, how much you paid for and who you bought it from?
Yeah, a postman down in Seattle paid $20 for it.
Of course, you remember going down to all the football games, ever playing Cascade. In those days, everybody stood up and cheered, and there were a lot of kids in the stands, and it was a lot of fun because that was the event. And, it was a good gathering for the whole community.
Who was most likely to win when you guys played Everett?
Cascade.
A little about your life today, Jamie. What are you up to?
Well, I'm still working. Not very hard, but in the finance business and working 3 or 4 days a week, but still stay active. I like to ski and play golf.
Family?
Yeah, I have 2 wonderful kids, 2 granddaughters. It doesn't get any better. I live about 1.5 miles from here. It's all good.
I retired from GTE and working for Unified Grocers in Seattle. I'm a widower. I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and 3 grandkids. I live out in Lowell, South Everett.
Wow.
I'm retired. I've been retired for 3.5 years. I worked at the Mukilteo Water Wastewater District for 43 years, and I don't miss working.
Any kids?
To be retired. I have 2 boys and 4 grandchildren.
I highly recommend retirement. I've been retired for 4 years. I love to hunt and fish and garden and take trips to Alaska just to take pictures. I don't hunt up there.
What'd you retire from?
I retired from Boeing.
Retired, 4 grandsons, have no idea how I had time to work.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a water guy.
Woodall, and I live in Marysville.
Gail Vanderberg Embert, and I live in Mount Vernon.
Diane Stroud, and now Diane Gibson on Camino Island. Dolores Stroud, Everett.
Do you feel like you've changed since high school?
Most definitely. Knowing who I am finally and having the confidence to be out there in the world going after what I want. More self-assured. I think all of us have experienced some hard knocks in life and come out ahead for it.
The college is too difficult.
I haven't slowed down at all. Not at all.
Definitely grown and changed, and like the girl said, I'm coming into my own and I found myself.
What are some things you've done that you're proud of, Mary Beth?
College education. I've been a nurse for 48 years. I've been married 50 years, and I have a great son.
I am proud of my children, my grandchildren, my accomplishments as far as businesses, and my volunteer work.
Just a long work history of 50-some years, and a hard worker. I'm most proud of my family, my son, my grandchildren, and my dedication to growing and learning, and my career as a nurse.
Tom Duran.
Tom has really rescued, I believe, our class. Please wave again, Tom. He's in the back. There were many years when we did not know what was going on in each other's lives, and it seemed that Tom kind of took the idea of getting a website going to get communication going between all of us, and did a beautiful job of bringing us back together. So I think if anyone did the best favor for our class, it's Tom. Thank you, Tom. And then we have all the worker bees that have been involved in tonight, and I was going to name individual kinds of jobs, but I think what I'm going to do is just read the list. And please, if you have an opportunity to see these people, tell them thank you. All right, we had Kay Hughesby Kettle. Kay, would you stand up? Kay. She's in the back with Tom. We have Karen Girl Sam. She was out on the welcome table. We have Vicki Edwards Peterson.